Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to GrowedUpGeek Gaming, your home for narrative and roleplay-focused Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition live play campaigns. It is Tuesday. Sorry, my calendar's a little weird. It's Tuesday, which means I get to be a player, so I'm not up in that box. I'm down here with these guys. And what lurks below our Lovecraftian little horror mini-series with our amazing guest DM, Cauldron. So happy to have. So we're back. Last week, time zones, foreign countries, and the such got in our way, but we're back and we're happy to do so. Before we get into episode 3 tonight, we'll do a little bit of channel business, some quick intros. Our DM will handle our recap, and then we will jump right into tonight's episode. I will start with the intros. I am Manny at GrowedUpGeek on your social media, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. If you like what we do on this channel, please give us a like, follow, subscribe, high five, fist bump, consent given, pat on the butt. Anything to show your affirmation. We are live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights here at twitch.tv/GrowedUpGeek. For What Lurks Below, our show tonight, our high-level limited campaign Dynasty of Dragons on Wednesday night, and our Drow-themed mini-series Legacy of Blood on Friday nights. All of our videos are uploaded on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, the day before the show's respective air, so you can get all caught up. That is it for me and the channel. Tonight on our amazing show, I will be playing Arvyn, an Eladrin who's, because of the Feywild, has been around for like 1,200 years and is going through quite the existential crisis with the shorter-lived races. Let us slide over. Everybody's in different spots. Oh, you're all wrong. Oh my God, you guys are all wrong. Everybody's wrong except Sam. Nice job, Sam. Cool, there we go. Problem solved. All right, slide over to where everybody's supposed to be. Lover of dogs and all short races. Our typical resident gnome here. Landon, tell us about Sid.
Well, I normally play a gnome. Today I'm a dwarf, which is a little bit taller. It just, I feel, fits the character just a little bit more since he has a big Saint Bernard dog, or mechanical dog. Sid is a battlesmith artificer, of course, who wields a powered-up maul and fights alongside his greatest masterpiece, his companion, Beowulf. He generally wants to do good and help people and enjoys adventure. So on the scale of things that are most important, it goes something like his companion, Beowulf. Second is his companions, the people he travels with. Third is the adventure, and fourth is the actually making a good difference. So it is important to help people, but that's not the reason why he goes out adventuring.
Oh, right behind the dog. We'll take it.
But yeah. I mean, like,
I didn't make any of you. Like, I don't really care. Like, you guys are great now, but I made this.
I knew you all for like 2 years. This guy's been with me in my head since I can remember.
And Beowulf's like growling at us now. Like, sorry, man. All right.
Yeah.
Let us slide over to the lover of all beast races. Tenta, tell us about Rasma.
Surprisingly, Tenta is a lizard folk today, and Rasma is a Twilight cleric and a rogue. He is a spiritual leader, a thief. He's cloaked in shadows. He's a healer. He has a very distinct role in this, and he's friends with these guys for, like he said, a couple of years now. At this point, he's convinced that it's his job to get them from point A to point B, and he's just trying to keep everyone alive.
Next on to somebody who did not have a most pleasant voyage across the open sea due to a predetermined species-driven fear of water. Typically a paladin on Tuesday nights. Today he's a big cat who hates getting wet. Nick, tell us about Dirk.
So Dirk is a monk of the astral self, and like all cats, does not not all cats, most cats doesn't really like moisture. So this whole place in general, the trip here, the styes, is just real damp. So Dirk's doing everything that he can to kind of stay up above the water line and, trying not to offend the locals with his comments on how much he doesn't like this place. So, yeah, hopefully, we're here to save the styes, but I feel like one good karate chop to a specific board might be able to take the whole styes down. So I don't know. I might start searching for that one board.
Just looking around for something loose along the way. Hey, you guys. All right. That is the amazing cast. I'm blessed to have them as my group when I DM on Tuesday nights. I get to play with them now, and a rare treat. And all of that is due to the man up there, Sam, a.k.a. Cauldron, who is our amazing guest DM. Take it away, Sam.
Thank you. Well, first, I do want a quick couple of announcements of music. The music that I will be using in this game mini-series is a collection of that from Kevin MacLeod, whose work can be found at Incomptech, and the works of Alex Rowe, a fellow Brit, who is a composer of his own works and remixes, and he's graciously given permission for me to make use of a few of his own compositions. So if you hear any music, it's one or the other, really, depending on what mood we're in at the moment. And I highly recommend checking out both of them. Alex Rowe's stuff can be found at Alex Rowe on YouTube and Spotify, and alexrowe.bandcamp, and for his Bandcamp site, where you can purchase his singles and albums. But with that little bit of housekeeping out of the way, we can get into the recap. So, our little group here has travelled to the Styes, a rather desolate and ruin-looking city, one that seems to be slowly falling into the muck, grime, and filthy ocean that surrounds it. Your journey, however, was not easy. You encountered an abyssal tainted storm, almost, that seemed to have its own sentience or was directed in some way, protected only by the actions of the captain. Upon landing at the Styes, you disembarked, and after watching coin change hands, you were directed into the care of a half-orc who heads the docks, a rather gruff individual by the name of Tak. She shooed you out of the way pretty quickly, but allowed you to take a map with you, first of all. I believe that we had our Leonin tipping out some stuff over in protest of the treatment as you left, in typical cat behavior. Nevertheless, you all left in short order. You traveled first into the lower quarter of the Styes, at the Merchant's Quarter. Here you saw buildings that had been run down and emptied for years, decades maybe. Street rats and urchins and the homeless and impoverished, littered dark alleyways. Untrusting eyes stared out at you all. For as much as these people were given a bad hand in life, you are still outsiders, and thus you were not feeling welcome. At one point, a group of urchins did run up to you all, and coin was handed out, I believe, by our paladin, maybe in an effort to stave off some of his morose thoughts. In the huddle and the squash, as it were, our dwarven artificer found a note slipped into his pocket shortly after our paladin had a rather tense conversation with one gentleman on the streets who lambasted you for giving him a gold coin, him imparting the wisdom of such wealth in such a great quantity would soon leave him dead if you left it in his hands. Thus you learned quickly and gave out copper and silver instead in short order. Trapezing through the Merchant's Quarter, you made it into the High Quarter. This place still looked run down, but in better quality, and you saw garrison guards patrolling the streets. In short order, you got yourselves to the City Hall, where after another tense conversation, this time with a clerk, and get bearing witness as to how harsh the punishment of the Styes can be when you saw his assistant had her tongue removed. You were shown into offices where records were kept, records of the murders that you had been sent to investigate of one John Loveless. There you found records of the Lantern Ghost Killer, whom Jarm is purported to be, and who was executed for the crimes of Hall. You also found that the day after he had been executed and hung, another crime had been committed. Captain Sampson, however, an individual you've never met, had signed off it as nothing more than a copycat killer. Nevertheless, you all then journeyed to the garrison, I think seeking to speak to either Sampson or whoever might be in charge. While Sampson was not on duty and the individual in charge, one constable, Jute, were not on shift at the moment, or rather were on shift and out patrolling, you had a conversation with a half-orc guard by the name of Lieutenant Gurok. I believe it was a relatively friendly conversation, where you got a bit of details for the city, where it was informed as well that being notably stronger than the average person here, it may well be that you could find jobs and work if you wanted. Otherwise, you were asked to just keep to yourselves and not cause too much trouble. Nevertheless, the lieutenant did agree to pass on a message to the constable for you to meet her in a place called the Drunken Steed, where you were intended to meet Eleanor Lovelace, the half-sister. Sister-in-law of the individual that hired you, and the sister of Jarm, the one who is now dead. You travelled across the kind of inlet that separates this city into over the murky and grimy waters, dark and pitch black, even with the morning fog slowly receding, and headed into the section of the Styes called the Lower Quarter. Equally as run down, this place is more falling into the seas than any others, and indeed this is a ramshackle building of layer on top of layer on top of layer of buildings and homes and domiciles and abandoned shops and all sorts. You soon found yourself to the very edge of the quarter, where the Drunken Steed lay. While three of you went inside and spoke with Eleanor, I believe one of you stayed outside and had an encounter with a tree, one that seems to be rotted with undeath and decay. And despite your best efforts, Arvyn, you were not able to return it to full health. After this, Eleanor led you to meet an individual and ally of hers, one who'd been a sponsor of herself and her brother, a Referum. Referum was an elderly human priest, as best you could tell, a acolyte of Lathander. He welcomed you into his home and begged you for help. He informed you that he did not believe that Jarm was guilty, that he'd even offered to speak with dead on Jarm's corpse to get a confession, but that his corpse was destroyed in soon order after his execution. He believes that there is a conspiracy afoot, that the darkness that has taken root in the Styes has somehow grown very malicious and malignant in recent times, and that it is behind the Lantern Ghost Killer. That Jarm was innocent and was but a simple patsy, whatever, used and discarded. He begged you for help, informing you that he and Eleanor would soon be fleeing for their own safeties out into the marshes, and I believe I mentioned into where ruins of old elven settlements lay. In his beggings and his desperation, you all agreed to offer help. And it was him and Eleanor thanking you that we left off. And it's to that scene that we now return, as the midday sun looms overhead, and yet the gloom still clings to the inside of Refrum's workshop and home alike. You're all sat in the main room, him still standing by a crackling fire, and still giving his thanks for your agreement to help. You have no idea how much I appreciate this, all of you. It is good to know that some innocence can be found. Thank you, all of you. do any of you say anything, as this individual seems to just fall into a routine of thanking you.
Has he said specifically what he's fleeing from?
If he did, I don't remember, so retconning, he has not.
Okay.
Rasma feeling, like it's his job to say something, says, you are welcome. We just wish to establish peace in the Styes.
A foolish wish, but perhaps what Admiral, you will not find the peace here, my friend. That is long gone.
Peace can be many different things.
Not in a place such as this. It is rotten. My home lost to me now. Its spirit decayed. But mayhaps you're right. And I am simply blinded. Nevertheless, you will not be without thanks. My home, as I think I mentioned to you, my home is open to you while you stay here. It is somewhat protected. Somewhat safe. I can lead you into the wards, weakened as they are. You will be safer under a thunder's gaze. Thank you. Again.
Rephraim, who do we have to be fearful of? Not to put too fine a point on it. I haven't seen anybody too impressive around here. Or are we gonna get snatched up by whoever's in charge for being outsiders?
You may well do so. You may very well find those that don't care how strong you look and seek to press gang you into service. You may find those that might seek to mug you on the streets, that might steal from you in desperation and urgency. However, I believe the biggest threat to you comes from the Council. This city is, in the past, the Council were good people. Those that hold the position now are not. And I believe that they hold particular disdain to me for the role I serve in trying to help the people. Do you have a map on you?
Yeah, one of us definitely has a map.
Yep. If you set out the map, he goes and grabs like a quill or something and hurries over and circles a few specific buildings, pointing at each one as he does. This here. And he points to a building that's almost in the entirety to the east of the Styes, just before it slips into marsh. This here is the mortuary. And this, and he drifts over in a short distance. This here is known as Sidrius Manor. Sidrius is our undertaker. He heads the mortuary. But there are rumors. I would not wish to cast aspersions upon him, but there are rumors of undeath, of those that pass through his halls, raising and working for him in servitude, of those of rot and decay living there, of thieves and brigands, of those cursed with the lycanthropy of the rat. There are rumors and stories. He is probably the most removed from the city, though he deals with the dead rather than the living. He moves his finger to a building not too far from it. He oversees, however, here, the Hopener Asylum. This is where Jean was kept before his execution, deemed insane as he was. Sidrius has no authority there, but should you step foot there, he will know. He points to another building within the High Quarter, what seems on the map to be sketched a tower. This is the Thornwell Tower. This is where you will find one Thornwell, Council of Thornwell. She is reclusive, to say the least. Again, there are rumors and stories. People speak that she cavorts with the Nine Hells itself, that she opens portals to devils and fiends alike and trades with them for power. Again, she is removed, but she has a network. Everything that happens in the size reaches her ears eventually. He moves now to a different large building in the same quarter. This is Rashlin Manor. You may have noticed that elves, I do not know if this has been mentioned to you, but elves are not treated kindly here. The majority of the elves of this populace are kept out in the marshes. When the city has fallen to ruins, they have retreated into their own seclusion behind locked doors, warded magics, and some speak of pathways to the Fae. One elf, however, has stayed. That is Rashlin. He is said to lurk among the shadows, keeping watch on the city, using it to pilfer coin and secrets into his own pocket. It is said also that his blade has tasted many an innocent's blood, many a guilty also, but that he is a hired assassin. And finally, he points to a building not too far from his own home. This is the home and warehouse of one Dorvey, Mr. Dorvey, to be precise. His home was elsewhere, but it was swallowed by the sea. He now makes his home in his own warehouse and heads a rather vast trading company. If you pass by this building, then you'll see a suspended boat, ship, whatever. That is his home. The lift and crane that once offloaded goods now keeps it aloft. It is said also that he is reclusive in recent times due to illness. But nevertheless, his trading company still sees activity, that is certain. All four of these individuals have done away with their responsibility to the people. They no longer serve us. We serve them, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. They seek to profiteer off of all that remains of the city, to bleed it dry to the last ounce of blood and coin. They would probably be those of most threat to you, should you move against them. It is unlikely that they will act against you without provocation, however, out of self-interest, if nothing else.
Is us poking around and asking questions provocative enough, or is it going to take more than that?
I cannot say for certain, but I would hope not. If I were to do so, then most certainly they have made it clear their vendetta against me. For you to be outsiders, however, that does not make your life easy in this place, but at the same time, it gives you leeway. There are no previous bonds for you to be treading upon, so to say. You have full excursion to act. Just be careful not to poke and prod too hard. Otherwise, I think you should be fine. I pray to Lathander that you should be fine. Other than that, any threats to you will come from the regular cutthroat and cutthroat alike, actually. Assassin individuals of opportunistic moments. Compared to your strength, as stories I've heard, you would be safe. But nevertheless, they may seek to act against you. You are outsiders, after all. Not of our kin, not of our blood, not of our suffering and struggles. That makes you prey to those that are less beaten down by their depressed morale, or those of lesser morale. You should be safe, however, in my home. The wards will keep you protected. They should keep you protected. I apologize, I am not exactly a wardsmith.
What are you running from? We've established the danger to us. We're outsiders. You seem to be threatened and fearful. Is there anything you're not telling us?
Faith in this city is lost. to nearly all at this point. My persistence to the light of the thunder is not taken well. It is rare that I can leave my home without being accosted in the streets. I would not wish to raise hand against them, but rocks are thrown my way, jeers and taunts. There are those I still give help to as best I can, but in recent times those calls for aid are sometimes pantomimes to lure me out, so they can try and take what I have. These people are desperate. And desperation drives even the most honourable of souls to desperation at times, to desperate and malicious acts. I wish to leave before it comes that I have to act against them. Furthermore, my support of Jean is not unknown. The Lantern Ghost Killer was a fiend upon my people. For them to think that I support him, that I support such acts, there's anger and wrath. And while a person may be smart, a group of people are not. And I fear that mob may rise against me. That a mob may rise against Eleanor also. That's why I seek to draw both of us out of the city. I do apologize that you've all been brought into this most unpleasant of circumstances. But if I did not think help was needed, I would not have encouraged Eleanor to seek aid from her sister and brother-in-law.
We're used to uncomfortable situations.
I should hope you'll need that experience here. The Styes is not kind. Not just the people, but the place. It is not good. I wish its soul would return, but rot and decay causes much damage. But as I said, I am not leaving you without aid. You have access to my home. You have access to whatever books I have, whatever potions I have left from my alchemical concoctions. They are yours to use also. My home is your home for this time.
Okay. We appreciate it. We don't want you to be, if you feel in danger, just by your faith, we can understand the escape from religious persecution. So if you need us to help you out of the city, I guess we could do that. If you're gonna be fine,
I should be fine.
Okay.
There are a few who still owe me favors. I will call upon them and get help that way. I have given much aid over the years, and there are some who do not forget.
May your path be lit by the moon. And a little light mote just kind of goes, flies away.
Mm-hmm. That is most kind of you, my friend. And may the morning Lord light your way in this path.
May he indeed.
And unless you bring up anything else, he's going to urge Eleanor to grab what you see now is like a couple of satchels that were set off to one side and a overlarge travelling cloak. She gathers these up and pulls these on, and it kind of serves to occlude her form, but also how much she's carrying, essentially. And you
I'll
watch
rush
as
up there and
it's the same.
I'll rush up there and grab the bags for her and start carrying them out.
As you do so, she puts her hand on your arm and... Thank you, that is most kind, but it is best I carry all on me at this time. Our escape is not going to be... It's going to be quick. As soon as we leave this door... Well, Hopefully I shall see you again when my brother's innocence is proven.
Indeed.
She goes to stand by that door, and after a few seconds, Refn hurries out the room and comes back in, adjusting the pince-nez glasses on his nose as he does so, bringing with him a carved piece of almost obsidian, the pock marked by what at first seems to be like just little holes in it, but as it comes closer to you all, you see are finely shaped runes, and he sets it on the table. A single drop of blood upon the stone will key you into the wards, and you will be safe. I will not stay for this. I understand how sacred blood can be, and the dangers that can also be in ritual. So I would not watch over your shoulder in case you fear that I would make exploitation of that. When I have gone, as I say, a single drop of blood on the stone, you will be kicked into the wards fully. They will give you alerts should anyone unwelcome step foot upon my property.
We thank you.
If I may, before I go, I would recommend seeking out the asylum. It is where Jean spent his last few days. Mayhaps there you'll find some writings he made, anything he might have said to the attendants. Beyond that, there are crime scenes. The bodies are still in the mortuary, I believe. Although again, my assistance with them has been rebuked and refused. Beyond that, I know not what aid I can offer or advice I can give. Merely that you should all be careful. And may the morning Lord watch over each and every one of you. And he'll give a almost nervous nod to you all, pull a traveling cloak around his own shoulders. Hood goes up, and with a final nod, he looks out of the door, essentially. It being opened only just enough for him to slip through, and Eleanor soon after before it shuts closed behind him. If you go and peer out the windows, grimy as they may be, you see they go like 10 feet or so before a couple of individuals kind of bleed out of the shadows of the alleyways. Rather than being threatened by this reference, seems to raise a hand in greeting to them all. And this crowd suddenly seems to form around them, occluding them amongst a small number of bodies, making it hard to pick out them in particular, as they seem to head out towards the east, out of the city, out into where the marshes were, and where former signs of civilization still lay, enough so that they can camp out. And you are left alone in Refn's home.
I will finish a somber bow while I close the door, and then I'll turn around and pull a little crooked dagger out of my pocket and get a big smile and look at the cat. Guess who's gonna activate the ward? And I'm gonna jump at him and just try to playfully poke at his fingers. You're gonna do it.
You muted Nick.
Oh, you're just gonna come at me with a knife right now?
It's just a little tiny itty bitty dagger.
Playful. We're just being playful, a couple of buddies here. I'll unsheathe my claws and do the same thing back to you.
I'll be laughing the whole time.
What a great time we're having, just stabbing at each other.
Yeah.
The second he closes the door behind him, there's furniture crashing around, and everybody's maybe we shouldn't go. I'll get you. They can see you running past the windows, chasing him. What the fuck? I have these guys helping save us. We're doomed. This is his house that he's lived in for ever, right? Is that the kind of
yeah. There's obvious signs of wear and tear over the years.
Is there any iconography of Lathander, Like at least in.
There's more than a few.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So.
It's not like it's hidden away or anything. It seems even despite persecution he might have faced, he's still proud in his faith.
That's fine.
Yeah. So you can see like a small symbols carved onto like each of the doors that you can see at the moment. The symbol of the Morning Lord are carved.
And what? There's a library and like a workshop or something. My owlbears or my foundry's slow, so.
Yeah. If you refresh, it might work.
Yeah.
But yes, just to kind of describe what there is there, and then you can see the map in full. So there's a room currently with 6 beds laid out. It seems the site might have been kind of makeshift infirmary if need be, but it's been kind of set up that you can all make use of it as rooms. There's what seems to be a mix of library and study. There's also a kind of laboratory, an alchemist's laboratory essentially, and a kind of larder and kitchen, I suppose, with long-lasting goods essentially. There's also off to the side in the room that you're currently in, which is the like dining room table. There's like a drinks cabinet essentially, a fireplace as well, and then there's a set of stairs that go up to what seems to be a singular room. If any of you head up there, you see it's a very small, very plain bedroom, essentially. Fit for only one person, which seems to have been like chests open and scattered and wardrobes left open. Things have been clearly removed from here.
I definitely want to go rooting through the library.
Okay. Does anyone actually trigger the stone?
Oh yeah, I will. I'll do it. I'll unroll my hand out of the many layers of cloth I got going and prick my finger and squeeze it into the.
Yeah. As soon as your kind of drop of blood lands on the stone, you feel like this expanded awareness for a moment. Like you're aware of everything in the home. You're aware of your 3 fellows as they move about and exactly where they stand before that awareness kind of fizzles away into the back of your mind. And it's still there. You've still kind of got that sensation of there are 3 people who shouldn't be in the home, are present in the home at the moment, since they're not keyed in yet. But you get the idea this is how like it's an early warning system, essentially.
Interesting. I'll tell them you guys have to do it too. You're bothering me until you do.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood, except for myself. You know, I'll cut my finger and put it on the.
Same thing again. As soon as that first drop lands, you're now aware of the 2 unwelcome, quote-unquote, unwelcome individuals.
Yeah, they have that like question mark or exclamation point. Like you get caught in Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
The house does not trust you.
Yeah. See what I mean? You guys have to go do it too.
Rasma's gonna walk over, or Arvyn's gonna walk over to Rasma. I'm from the Feywild, and giving my blood to a stone seems like a bad idea. You get in trouble where I live, I take your name, and we're just gonna give this thing blood?
Just superstition.
What if it's hungry?
What if the rock is bigger tomorrow?
Then we will deal with the rock tomorrow.
What if it breaks out into song?
That will be entertaining. I fail to see the negative here.
I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna respectfully hold off. I don't like it.
I still have my little dagger in my hand. I'm like,
you're like, come on, man.
yeah, come on, bro.
Keeping my arms behind me as I kind of look at it and talk to you, making sure the plate, all the all the seams between my plate is like nice and firmed out, so there's no like exposed weakness.
And Sidrius, do you offer the drop of blood?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
In that case, for the three of you, there's only like one unwelcome individual present at the moment, and you don't have an exact bead on where they are, but it's kind of like to a general room you have an idea. So you know they're in the front room, moving back into the study essentially as Arvyn goes to look into the study / mini library. Arvyn, as you enter into there, what you find is this is by no means some great scholars, study in any stretch of the imagination. You see books on basic herbcraft, basic kind of survival guides, and very rudimentary stuff. Pardon me. You can see also like some early learning books, for kids, things like that have been set off to one side. Make me an investigation check.
Not something I'm very good at. I literally got a 0.
Do you want
Okay.
Sid to help you
You
investigate?
didn't even try and look, dude. What the
Yeah.
hell?
My wife would say that is so accurate right now.
Yep.
Yeah, mine wouldn't be surprising.
Sidrus, if you're helping, let me know what you get. Investigation as well.
Yeah. Actually, that's net 20, so the 30.
Okay, 30. Very good. So
A little bit on the other.
I'm like
end of
looking under the
spectrum there.
chair.
Arvyn, you're looking around and you're just thinking to yourself like this does not seem like an alchemist's study. There's basic books and basic things, but there's nothing on like
I'm not gonna look.
concoctions or herb lore, advanced herb lore, or how to make potions or anything like that. There's nothing there. And then Sidrus just wanders over and plucks a book that almost is like literally right in front of your nose and hands it to you, and you find it's an advanced guide, or rather it's a for lack of better words, like a dictionary of different concoctions and their ingredients, and it seems to be a written manuscript of Repham's own make. This is like a collection of his advanced works, if that makes sense. And with that guide, Sidrus, you can point out there seems to be a collection of these books are set back a little bit from the main shelves, but this is where kind of all the advanced stuff is. It speaks also of different planes and of the herbs that might be found there, or the alchemical ingredients that could be found there, ones that can be harvested from different creatures that have to be created under specific circumstances. It's a lot of kind of manuscripts and almost like studies on these things. And Repham was somewhat elderly, and you get the idea you're looking at basically an alchemist's life work. He was a healer, but
they're in Repham's, like they're in Repham's hand. Like this is
yes,
okay.
Yeah. It seems even those that were like official books have been transcribed into his own hand as well. Whether that maybe is a way of getting a copy of it, or maybe that's a way of cementing the knowledge in his head by actually writing it out. You're not sure, but it seems as a collection of like an accomplished alchemist's library is here. There's a couple of books also on anatomy, for a variety of different creatures, mainly though humanoid, human, goblin, dwarf, not goblin, sorry, gnome, dwarf, elf, half orc. Basically, what the majority of the populace that you've seen in the city. And notes on like what concoctions might be allergic to them, what concoctions help them best, etc. So with that natural 20, you basically get his entire life work, even that which he's kind of hidden away slightly. You find it.
As Sid explains all this to me as he reads it, I'm just nodding politely, but have no idea what he's talking about. Like, yeah, I thought that too, man. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Rasma, do you go anywhere in particular? Check out anything out in particular?
I head to the alchemy room there.
Yep. So, as you step over into the kind of threshold of that room, you and all those that are kind of keyed into the wards feel like a sudden strengthening of them, focused on this room in particular. And indeed, Rasma, you check as you look back behind you, you see on the threshold of the doorway, there's glowing runes that are slowly fading away. It seems like to contain any mishaps that may occur. It's a bit more protected. But basically you find a place that seems to be, there's a work desk in front of you, what seems to be a dissection table off to your right. There's a place that seems to have a lot of, a kind of stone table in the corner of the room, which has a lot of grooves leading into 3 different spots. And next to that, a smaller circular, similarly stone table with engravings of an arcane nature upon its surface. Directly to your right as you enter, there's also like a kiln and a furnace. And you can see there's a couple of crates left around. If you pop any one of them open, you find there seems to be both emptied and filled vials of what you have no idea.
Can I pop one open and smell it?
Yep, make me I'll say a Arcana check.
All right. So, 14.
Okay, the one you pick up is a potion of healing. Just a basic potion of healing.
I will go ahead and slip that into my robe.
You can see in that one that you've picked up, you see 8 others.
Oh,
As
okay.
you pick through the room, you can see like 8 other potions of healing, just basic potions of healing. So 2d4 plus 2.
All right, I'll go ahead and take another one and slip it into my pocket, and take the other ones and just wrap them in a little, and just pull out one of my rags and wrap it up in that, and kind of like tie it to my belt.
So you can add 8 potions of healing to your inventory. Do you continue to look around? Because
yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Make me just an investigation check at this point. These are like the most obvious potions kind of left out.
16.
Okay, you find 3 other different potions in a variety of different numbers, of which just make me 3 Arcana checks for each one.
Okay. I got an 8 for the first one.
Okay, that one you have. There's 2 of those vials. You have no idea what they are.
Okay, I'll just write it as 2 vials.
Mm-hmm.
And then said roll again, right?
Yep.
I got a 14 on that one.
That one you recognize as being another potion of healing, but of slightly stronger strength. This is, you recover 1 greater healing.
Awesome. And then I'll roll again here.
And one last time.
That one was a 19.
This, you find 6 of these, and it takes you a while to kind of figure out what they are, but you come to understand they are basically a protection from poison and disease, or a curative version of it, essentially, in potion form.
Oh, excellent.
And you have 6 of them.
Thank you, sir.
And while that's going on, and Sidrius and Arvyn are in the study, Dirk, do you go anywhere in particular?
I'm going to use some of my monk meditative skills and feng shui his apartment for him while he's gone.
Fair enough.
Just going to rearrange his furniture and
just make me a wisdom check. See how well you do.
Ooh.
Okay. When you say his apartment, do you mean this downstairs or the upstairs? His actual bedroom?
The downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say you spend the next 10 or so minutes just moving things around a little bit more. It certainly looks like there's been like a controlled stampede of chaos through this entire place. Like the table's now askew. There's a couple of mugs that have been just knocked off, like a cat being bored and playing with them. The logs for the fire have been moved to the other side of the room. You go into where the beds are, and again, you kind of move the beds around a little bit. Everything is just ever so slightly off now, like just a storm of chaos has gone through. To you, though, it's perfect. Perfectly balanced now. Pardon me.
Disapproval face to the cat.
I like how this looks. It's looking good.
Really opens the place up.
Yeah. It just really like, he's gonna love it, I'm sure.
Such a skewed perception.
Is there anything else that anyone wishes to do at this point? Or by the way, at this point, it's about midday to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You have about 5 hours until Constable Jute is set to meet you, or set to start heading towards the Drunken Steed.
We don't have much time. All right, I'll investigate this arcane symbol rock here.
Mm-hmm.
And try and find out its usage.
Just make me Arcana check.
All right. 17.
Okay, you get the idea that this is kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, it's basically an enchanting table. It's used to imbue some properties, arcane properties into materials, whether they be liquid or solids or even gases. It's just a way of adding to his work.
Over at my friends here. This is above my head. This is above my pay grade.
We got Sid. He's the smart one. Is this like a desk or?
Yeah, it's like a personal desk. You can see here like loose sheafs of notes. Some of them, however, look to be torn apart and burnt. Basically, it's like research that he hasn't wanted anyone to touch, that he hasn't wanted to risk taking with him either. It seems some of it has been destroyed in preparation for his return.
Like recently?
You get the idea, recently, yeah, as in just before he left.
And is there any way to tell what might have been on those notes?
Not really, no. For looking at it, it's basically he's took the piece of paper and like dunked it into ink and then torn it apart. So try to destroy what he's written as best as possible.
Gotcha.
We knew what he was doing.
And Refram did it.
I'm gonna cast Mending. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can cast Mending, but all you get is just a piece of parchment covered in ink.
Prestidigitation might be able to clean it off.
I do have both Mending and Prestidigitation prepared.
If you want to try it, you can try it.
Sure.
Okay.
I will try it.
As you cast Mending on one of these pieces of paper, you do get, since it's just been torn apart, you do get it to kind of piece back together, and you just have a sheet basically of just ink stain at this point. As you cast Prestidigitation, you do remove that ink stain, but you also remove any ink that was actually written onto the page as well.
Well, I helped him out.
Make me a perception check. Make me a perception check, though.
Are we getting into like the grooves of
17?
the quill?
I was going to say 17, you can tilt in the light and you can just catch slight grooves from where the quill must have sketched.
Charcoal out of the fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
With a rub.
Yeah, that's what Sid is going to do, is follow Nick's advice there.
Okay, then. As you grab a piece of charcoal and rub it over, you do indeed begin to draw out little pieces of what was written. It's not consistent. You can't always read what was read because it's a variable of how much pressure was being used. But you do get the odd little bit of words and phrases. What languages does everyone speak?
That is a good question. Well, I chose, apparently, I didn't put a lot of thought into it, because here I have Abyssal, Common, Deep Speech, and Dwarvish. So I don't think that was very well thought out.
Okay.
Primordial
Oh.
is my weird one. Arvyn's apparently not very multilingual in 1200 years. My man just didn't want to learn another language. Okay.
Stubborn. I got Abyssal, Draconic, and Thieves' Cant.
Okay. And Dirk.
Let's see. Abyssal, Common, and Deep Speech.
It's actually in Draconic. So Rasma is able to read some of it. What you read is basically an account of one patient that he treated not too long ago. By the date, about a week ago. It basically reads, whispers have been spoken of by this patient and by more. I am concerned of their spreading nature. It is not often that I have thought such delusions to be contagious, and yet, almost as if it is rot, or almost as potent as the disease that runs rampant through the city, these whispers seem too to spread. What they whisper changes, but they always carry the same tone. Despair, destruction, decay, and rebirth from nothingness. I fear that oblivion seeks this city. And it is not a mundane matter. The paper then goes on to basically speak of the treatment that was given, treating a severe case of, if I double check what it was called, a severe case of red face is what is noted, to the point of loss of sight.
You said it's
basically-
not red. What was the thing?
Rot face.
Rot
Sorry,
face.
red face. Red face.
face.
My bad. So severe enough that it was affecting the eyes and leading to a loss of sight. It makes note of that blood had been cried, basically. The tears of blood had been shed in the day before he'd been called out. That it was severe. So it was a severe case of high contamination, of blighted of blight, essentially. But then this was one of the most severe cases of red face he's seen.
These are like his doctor's notes.
Essentially, yeah.
Why the hell are they in Draconic?
And why did he burn?
Probably because he did not expect that a lizard would start reading his shit.
Why?
That is my suggestion.
Why are they in Draconic?
Who was he making correspondence to? Is these notes being passed to somebody?
Even if that's not it, if they're just his personal notes, like, why are you keeping your own personal notes in Draconic? I mean, if that's your choice, that's your choice. It just seems odd.
It
you
seems
think-
like
Some sort
will
of
say-
shorthand.
Just to clarify, the bit about the whispers was a bit in Draconic. Sorry, I should have mentioned. The actual medical treatment was in Common.
Okay.
and the whispers were that basically that the delusions of I was trying to run it pretty quick. The delusions were contagious. It's almost like a rot, potent as a disease that runs rampant. The rumors and whispers carry the same tone: destruction, decay, and rebirth from nothingness. Oblivion seeks the city. I think that was what you said. Or oblivion approaches the city.
Yep, that was the point that he was writing in Draconic. The more sensitive aspect, his own personal musings on the kind of this contagious delusion.
And that part's is in his hand as well.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
it's all in his hand.
Okay.
It does seem like the Draconic might have been his own personal mental musings, which to me means that he thinks in Draconic.
Or somebody's reading his notes.
either way.
If they don't trust him and they don't want him to use speak with dead, and he wants to get the hell out of town, then he thinks he's being watched. Why he got rid of it, why it's written in another language. Why not write the whole thing in Draconic if that's your deal?
Oh, are you saying he's hiding his findings from whoever might encounter them?
I think he's just worried that somebody is going to read his notes. And if he's...
Well, his worries were correct.
Showed him.
Yeah. I'm just glad because I only have like 4 cantrips I can prepare, and I'm surprised that I had both mending and prestidigitation.
You guys
way to go, man.
You guys get cantrips?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shrug. I say we should, knowing what we know, we should let it digest while we foot it to the mortuary, because we don't have a whole lot of time to do things before we're supposed to meet up at the Drunken Steed.
I mean, let's finish going. Let's go upstairs. Let's finish. If we're gonna violate this man's stuff, let's just finish up. And plus, this is This is the stuff he has like in the common parts of his house. You know, who knows what he's got upstairs?
I guess you have a point there.
So one thing, sorry, to skip back a bit for you, Tenta, when you were looking at the potions, the one that you can't identify has a particular nature to it. As you watch, it's basically a blue potion that seems to almost be steaming, even though nothing of it is evaporating, if that makes sense. So it seems to be like a volatile liquid that isn't actually giving off any heat or anything. Just what it's worth.
I will put that in a more secure location within my robe.
Does it have a cork in it or anything? Is it just uncovered?
No, there's a cork. Each of the vials are corked.
Okay. Sounds like
I'm curious about this.
Put it down.
But I'm going to hand it over to Sid. Hey, I found this, and I think maybe it'd be better in your possession. And here's also 2 healing potions. And I'll give out 2 healing potions to each of these guys.
Very well. I will hold on to this potion, and maybe we'll get some answers about it before too long.
Yes, you were saying about wanting to check the upstairs?
Yeah, Yeah, because like I said, this whole thing with the note in Draconic is weird, and I just want to see what this man's gonna hide like in his room. Good lord, dude. You live like this?
There you go.
All right.
So as you head up, it is a very small room. There's basically bookshelves or set shelves of each as you go up, with a hanging open wardrobe, essentially. Other than that, there's a simple bed, chair, and a still open book. At the foot of the bed, there's a chest which seems to have been opened and just emptied at this point.
Is the wardrobe empty?
Yeah, wardrobe's hanging up. There's a few odd pieces of clothing still left in, but by and large, it's been ransacked.
Okay. I'll go, and it's only one book.
There's only the single book, yeah.
Okay. I'll go look at the book and then kind of, I guess, carefully kind of check at the footlocker.
The book is titled Malerna's Guide to Herb Lore and Fieldcraft, Volume 6. Just seems to be like an educational book, essentially.
Man, I'll have no idea what's going on without reading 1 through 5.
It's a learner's guide, though.
It's for learning.
It's for learning.
Yeah, but we're gonna pick up like in the middle of it, and I'm not even gonna know what's going on. I have no foundation, no context. I'm gonna carefully check the shit. Yeah, I'm still gonna do it, but part of me goes, hey, maybe this is the kind of thing that the stone is supposed to prevent me from doing. Like with my foot, I'm gonna see if I can like just kind of, quickly flick the lid open and prepare to make some kind of saving throw just in case.
As you do so, I need a wisdom saving throw from everyone but Arvyn.
Oh, sweet.
As
Oh,
you
wait.
get an immediate, almost warning blare in your head.
Oh.
This like sudden pressure and spike of warning.
12?
1?
Oh,
Okay.
shit. I'm sorry, you guys.
You're about to get murked, I think.
Oh, God.
Sidrius?
Oh, what was the check?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
It's a wisdom
Wisdom
save.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I missed that. Oh, I have rolled really well tonight. D&D Beyond is on. I said 21.
Okay, anyone who got less than 10? So I think it was just... yeah, I think that was just Rasma. You take 2 points of psychic damage. As you just feel like this intense pain suddenly rocket through your head, this kind of warning system, essentially, of something in the upper room has been broken into. For you yourself, Arvyn, you kick it open, and it just seems to be just a regular crate. There's a few almost like pouches of what might have been coin at one point. You see the odd little copper piece still scattered in the bottom of it that hasn't been scooped up. You see a small journal, tiny red leather-bound book, no more than like 4 inches by 2 inches in diameter. Not in diameter, in dimensions. It's tiny, absolutely tiny.
I'm absolutely gonna grab it, and while I'm in here, kind of feel the bottom, see if there's like a false bottom or anything in here.
Make me a investigation or perception check.
Come on. Okay. And now we're dancing. 16 perception.
There's nothing there. You find a silver piece that's fallen through the cracks.
Hey.
Other than that, there's nothing else to it. It seems a lot of this stuff has been taken, that which he couldn't take with him, he, as with the notes, tried to destroy. Everything else seems to be not mattering, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's that which he could be safe in leaving behind.
I'm going to start to leaf through the little journal just to see, like, get an idea of what it is. And as I stand up, I'm going to open and close the lid like 5 times really fast. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, I need wisdom saves 5 times over.
Ow! The hell you guys doing?
God, what the hell?
Lid goes up, lid goes down. I'm going to read through the little journal, or just kind of flip through it, see what it is.
It seems to be just notations of the Lantern Ghost Killer, essentially. It's repeated information from what you found in the reports, though gathered more from whispers and rumours, if that makes sense. It's basically just capped off with a note of further research is required. This was not Jean. Jean has no potential for this. No training. However, whoever did this is trained on a medical level, which was too precise to be a simple butcher. And it seems to be left off there. Basically, it's basically an account of his own investigation.
And this is also reference hand?
Reference hand,
Okay.
yes.
Just gonna flip through it. I guess make my way back downstairs. Hey, you guys, I really was worried that I was going to set off this trap, but thank God I'm okay.
You just see
Yeah.
Rasma clutching at his head just off to one side. A little faint trickle of blood from one nostril.
I found this book upstairs. Reference seems pretty convinced that not only Jean didn't do it, but there's definitely like a medical component. So, Rasma, you think you could get us through somebody who deals with dead bodies? You're a cleric.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, you're all planning to head out to the mortuary?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay then. as you step out into the Styes, so you are all currently here. Number 6. And the mortuary is number 10, off to the east. So as you step out, it is, as I say, just edging past midday at this point. Yet it feels like there's no warmth from the sun above you. It's dull and almost, it's a very weak sunlight that seems to pierce through onto this land. You still feel like the chill of the morning and of the sea breeze piercing into your bones. For you, Dirk, you've gone from what was a very dry place to once more constant damp on the air. Unfortunately, your fur, which had dried off in the warmth of the home, immediately gets a bit sodden.
Rude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's also the very strong scent of fish.
Hey.
So maybe that balances out.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Yeah. There you go.
Nevertheless, okay. You follow the map as close as you can. Sometimes it leads you to a dead end where you need to pull back and work around to find a different route. At one point, you do pass by where what is labelled as the Hemlock Pit. And what you see is basically a mire of slime and muck and thickened dirt, essentially. It stinks of all manner of things, essentially. You can even see, while you're passing by, what seems to be a cowled figure hobbling out from a home and just like chucking almost like a cauldron or something into the muck, which gives off a almost spark and crackle and this odd purplish smoke that rises into the air before they hurry back in. And indeed, from a few homes, you can see this like odd coloration drifting from chimneys and the like. It seems there might be more than one alchemist, hence why this is called the Alchemist Quarter, and that some of them don't really care to be careful in their practices. And maybe that's what made the Hemlock Pit what it is. Nevertheless, as you gaze across the Hemlock Pit, you can see a rotten, still barnacle-encrusted boat hanging above the muck and the mire. Attached to a what seems to be a 3-story warehouse. You get the idea that this was the Dory warehouse that was mentioned to you. Carrying on, you head down out of the Alchemist Quarry back into the High Quarter and begin to approach the mortuary. As you go, you do see eyes gazing at you with almost like a hungered desperation at times, but none seem to work up the urge to actually confront you at this point. Indeed, those that might have lurked deeper in the shadows have retreated further in now that the midday light is shining upon you. And we come to the steps of the mortuary. So if you refresh Foundry, you should be on a different map now. And if I find the goddamn...
Can we see like the harbor and the port that we came in to, like as we walk? Is the city like that? Is it that large that I can't really see it?
It is too big that you can't really see it, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right. Now let me know when the map is loaded, please.
Just waiting for mine to refresh.
Yep. Sorry that's taking so long.
That's all right. Does that sometimes?
Whoa. Whoa. She big.
How'd you know? Actually, no, let's go with that. So the mortuary seems to be a run-down looking building, quite large in its footprint as you approach it. Squat, single story. It looks like the roof is kind of falling apart, and you imagine there is many a leak on the inside. Nevertheless, it seems to have been constantly refurbished, probably because it deals with death and decay and they don't want disease actually spreading. So this seems to be like fresh paneling, which even now is looking rotted and weather-worn, recently applied. As you approach, there's a set of double doors that it seems to have the capabilities to be locked and barred if need be. Nevertheless, as you approach, they are ajar slightly, if you wish to enter.
I'll go first.
Okay.
This is a big building.
I'll just drop you all onto the map.
What kind of city guard presence have we seen between Rephrem's house and here?
So in the Alchemist Quarter, there was barely nothing. There was the odd presence here and there. As you entered into the to the north of the Upper Quarter, I think that's what it's called, you encountered a more present guard, similar to nearer to the city hall. As you got closer to the mortuary, however, that city guard bled away, and there was nothing as you approached. For like a block or two around, there was no sign of a guard. It kind of just dropped off entirely. As you enter into the building, you see a kind of welcoming desk set in front of you in this kind of large chamber. Two candles are set on either side, and there is a gentleman sat in the chair behind it, sat and just currently going over what seems like a records book. Behind him, you see stood a very sallow-looking, almost and slightly jaundiced human woman, and they're both in quiet conversation as you enter. But as you step through, both kind of perk up and look towards you. The gentleman speaks up. "Can I help you all?"
I'll step forward a little bit.
His eyes, almost slightly hawkish, lock onto you immediately as you make a movement.
My eyes are glowing blue. No pupil or sclera or anything. And I'm High Priest Rasma to Erdah of the Luminous Order.
Indeed. It is rare that we get anyone of any clergy stepping into our halls. Nevertheless, that does not answer what brings you here, friend.
We are here to expunge this place of its oppressive evil.
What brings you to darken the doorway? The Sidrius mortuary. You wish to expunge this place, as you say. Perhaps it's not a place for you, cleric. We do our business and we do it well. And we need no help from any member of the cloth to do so.
It's just incompetence.
He seems to just silently kind of lock his fingers before him and just stare you down over this desk, just impatiently waiting a response, essentially. A reason as to why your presence is, well, present.
We are here for your benefit, not for our own. Semi-acolytes, we are here to expunge this place, and I need access.
You say you're here for our sake, and yet you seek the answers, friend. You see the contradiction to your words, do you not? Nevertheless, hurry up and ask your questions. For the company of the dead, so much more simple.
May I please have access to where the bodies are kept?
He glares you down for a second and turns to look at the woman over his shoulder, whispers to her, and then without giving any response, just gets up and walks out one of the back doors, essentially, and disappears from view. The woman who he turns to speak to just steps forward, looks you all over, and goes down to a door to the left as you enter, and gives a knock before stepping politely to one side, essentially.
I'll give her a curt nod and leave my group
And
over.
He'll gesture for you to enter that room. And I realised I made a mistake when I was describing Sidrius before, but I'll cover that in a minute.
Oh, by the way, Rasma is short. He's like only like 5'2", but
Yeah,
he's got like a big James Earl Jones voice for someone that small.
Noted. But yeah, she'll gesture for you to enter that door to the immediate left as you all entered, and the door will just swing open for you.
Let's roll my way over, but not in. Got to refresh.
I mean, is the foundry messing up again?
It is for me. It's not allowing my character. I'm refreshing though.
Yeah, refreshing.
Yeah, it's not allowed.
Sorry about this.
It's alright.
Hey man, let's go. It's here.
Nevertheless,
It works.
I'll keep narrating for now then. Do you
It's not.
kind of
It's not software unless there's some sort of technical difficulty.
Says our software developer.
Exactly.
Nevertheless, and to keep narrating, do you kind of step into the door that you've been gestured into? Okay. As you all step in, you all bear witness as a almost oddly finely dressed individual, human-looking woman, pushes herself to her feet, and she's no taller than you, Rasma, really. But there's like slightly pockmarked face from a hard life, got slightly gaunt features, slight scarring to her face, and a shock of almost like white hair from one side of her fringe, the rest a stark black. And she just pushes herself to her feet and looks from one to another kind of judgingly. Then over to the woman by the door. I heard well enough. Thank you, Anne. Go back to your duties, please. The one behind you gives a slight nod and pulls the door closed and turns to head back to somewhere within the room. You hear her footsteps kind of fading away. This individual is stood behind a rather stately desk, pushing a chair back under it as she rises to her feet properly, shoulders back and head tilted up, almost giving an impression of taller than she actually is. Well now, outsiders and newcomers come seeking my domain and dominion. I am Madame Sidrius. I overheard your words, cleric. Why should I let you access the bodies that are beyond your touch now? Why should I let you deal with those of whom the flesh has grown cold and stiff, given over to death? My domain in this city.
Death is never a final destination.
You speak in simple sentences, and yet you cannot comprehend a simple question, it seems. What do you want? What do you seek, and why should I help you?
You should help me, because you benefit from my actions. As I said earlier, this place reeks of evil, top to bottom. I think that alleviation of any of it would be welcome.
You are an outsider indeed. You seek to barge your way in to my domicile and to demand that it be changed to suit your whims, to suit your perspective on how things should be. I should slit your throat for that arrogance, my friend. Add you to the bodies in my morgue. And if I do not wish your services, cleric,
Too close.
if I do not want your presence here, why the hell should I help you?
Let's see here. I might have a little something on this.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking a quick look real quick. Anything here? I'll go ahead and I'll use my thaumaturgy to make my eyes like blare blue light, and my voice will boom. Stand aside, peon. You threaten my throat. You are lesser. And it just like rumbles the whole room, and
Yep.
anyone around can hear that.
She seems to stand up even straight in response to your words. But at the same time, there's almost a hunch to her shoulders as she does so. Her eyes, which you hadn't really get a good, clear vision of now, are yellow embers in the darkness, as shadow seems to stretch out from around her. And you threaten me in my domain. I should tear your soul from your body for such arrogance. You who are nothing but a speck. And she casts prestidigitation herself, and her own voice becomes this layered series of almost whispers, rolling over each other like stones over water. The shadows around her going completely dark, almost like Joe Gandalf in Lord of the Rings with Bilbo. That is that kind of effect almost. Stand down, for you're setting me in my lair, my domain, my home.
You think the darkness is your home. That's what's funny. And all of a sudden, a light will start to grow from my hands, and and the whole room will be bathed in like a blinding blue light that feels really, really good to us, but is just a bright, obnoxious annoyance to him. Or to her, rather.
Is this a spell you're casting?
Yes, this is a spell. This is my featured ability. Or, yes, this is a spell. This is a spell. It is Beacon of Hope.
Okay, just read out quickly to remind me of that. What that does, please.
All right, Beacon of Hope. For the duration, each target has advantage on Wisdom saving throws and Death saving throws, and regains the maximum number of hit points from any healing, and that is concentration up to 1 minute.
Okay.
It's just radiating out from my hands.
She kind of just stands there, arms crossed, looking you over. I see manners were never taught to you. Get the hell out.
I will go ahead and...
Get out of my mortuary. Her voice almost goes raspier the more she speaks. She's just glaring at you now, just pure rage and anger.
I'll move my hand behind my back, and I'll give the party a thumbs up, and then I'll move to look the thumbs down position and wait for their response.
I haven't liked her the second she started getting salty with Rasma. So if you are looking for me to give you the sign that I'm ready, like I'm constantly just looking at everybody going, are we just going to let her talk to us like this? Like hand on my sword, just wait for somebody to go.
Well, see, the thing is, I know
If I-
this is kind of metagaming here a little bit, but like we are outsiders. This is their home. I
Oh,
understand
that's
that.
a
and we're not supposed to instigate, right?
Yeah, you're thinking too much. You're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You literally just walked into her little
She's
place of work.
smack
and
talk to
threatened
me.
her.
Yeah,
she did, but this is also her.
I'm going to leave a horrible
place of
Google
business.
review.
Yeah,
You know
the
what?
horrible Google review is just. I just don't
the
think we
Pope
should
just
beat her
came
up.
in and said, "This is what you got to do," and she said no.
She's never heard of
And-
Christianity in that analogy.
and I
She has
have
no idea who
Templar
the hell you
behind me.
are.
Crusade.
Yeah,
The crew
this is
what
a bad
now?
idea.
What do you all wish to do?
Well, I hear Arvyn's sword rattle.
Like I said, I just don't like that she's sassing us. I'm not going to make like an aggressive move, but I do not like being sassed like this.
I tell you what, Sid will
Okay.
speak up. Sid will speak up, and kind of like get between the two of them and say, "I'm terribly sorry. I think we may have gotten on the wrong foot. You see, we just want to help the people of this town. We want to make sure there's no more murders, and we were given very credible information that we could find a clue as to why these murders continue to occur here. So I'm so sorry for the rudeness that we caused. But we, from the bottom of our hearts, want to help you all and prevent any people from being unnecessarily harmed.
Including yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's in his mind, but he's kind of gonna, when he says unnecessarily harmed, he's gonna kind of look at Arvyn and Rasma, like, unnecessarily harmed.
See, you speak of helping us, citizens of the Styes, and yet you threaten me, a citizen with harm. Me, one of the council members with harm. Get out. Get
Very well, very
out.
well.
Mayhaps if you had been polite, I would have given you aid, but get out now.
What if we offer a charitable donation to your establishment?
Letting her lead the conversation.
And what are you thinking as a donation? As recompense for your arrogance?
Would 25 gold do it?
I'm gonna walk out.
Just leave the room. I wanted to kill this lady.
I don't say it out loud, but you could definitely see my tails curled up tight, and I'm like,
As you go to leave, the door does open for you and then shuts behind you. And I'll just drag you out into the hallway. Sidrius, do you go to follow as well then?
Oh, sorry. When you said that, I thought you meant, like, all of us were leaving.
Oh no, as Rasma goes, it kind of opens and then shuts.
Gotcha.
And the eyes just turn to the rest of you. 25 gold as recompense for such sins that have been spoken here. Come now. For redemption, there is a greater cost.
I think 25 gold sounds fair. And
2650 is the best I can do.
I see. She's going to slowly start to approach, and hold on a second. Let me double check something, because I want to be. Okay, it's in range. Okay. Yeah, she's slowly going to step forward towards you all. And then suddenly her hand lashes out and grips at you, Sidrius, on your face.
Rude.
And you
Oh,
see this
no.
kind of burning aura start to form around her hand. You can feel it almost searing into your flesh, but not quite yet being triggered.
Oh no.
Ted's gonna give her a warm smile. As warm as her hands appear to be getting. And he's just going to give her the benefit of the doubt because it's the type of person he is.
If no one else acts, she just stares you down, Sidrius, is holding this almost like cold burning hand against your face. Just her head cocked to one side, almost out of curiosity.
Does it hurt? Is like Sid expressing any like pain?
The way
It
it
feels
sounds,
like it feels like there's a spell about to be triggered, is the best way to describe it. The threat is there, but it's not yet active.
and Sid is sitting there completely defenseless. In his mind, you give people respect and they'll give you respect. And he is totally optimistic here.
I really want to cast stab right now.
I
She
mean,
just-
you could be saving Sid's life if you did that.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
now take
This is
take
probably-
take your hands off of him, and I'm gonna pull my sword and I'm gonna point it. She's gonna be, I guess, a little bit in front of me, so I'm gonna be kind of behind her. Very big, dramatic. You're gonna hear it come out of like the sheath on my hip, and yeah, no, you take your hands off of him.
I'm going to reappear back in the room.
You've
Whoa,
not heard
sounds
anything,
like some shit
Rasma.
going on.
You've heard nothing.
Oh, I've heard nothing.
Yeah.
You've heard nothing.
All right, well, I'm out there smoking a cigarette.
You're out there as you exit. Actually, there's who you overheard is Anne sat behind the desk. The individual who'd walked off seems to be back, as do a small number of other individuals, just kind of all stood behind that desk,
Oh shit.
glaring at you.
I haven't smoked in years, but I do carry a couple of reserves.
They're just kind of, as you stepped out, that this small number, about what did I do? 5? Yeah, 5 in number, just stood there staring at you.
I stand there and stare back. And when I exhale my smoke, my blue eyes light it up.
Back in the room, as the sword is pulled, Dirk, do you do anything? As Sidrius just seems to stare down Sidrius.
Chips.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a step back over here and I'll wait for something to happen. Just kind of
Open the door.
take a step back.
Turn it.
Yep.
Take
So she just-
cast the spell. See what happens.
And so, to
Everything's
be
gonna
clear,
be fine.
we're not instead of staying there full of optimism. He is scared, like you can probably see a little shaking in his hand, but he is giving her a warm smile, trying his best to show her respect, and trying not to show any offensive thing, even though the sword was just pulled. But
Okay. Make me a persuasion check with advantage.
I
Just
do
to kind
love
of-
this round.
Give it a cross.
all right, you said advantage.
You have advantage, yes, because you're trying to portray what she's looking for, essentially.
16.
Okay.
Thanks for the advantage, because it would have been a 6.
With 16, then, she just continues to stare you down. Arvyn, she pays no attention to you. Although, with your passive perception, you feel like a shift in the air behind you as soon as you drew that blade.
The audacity!
And she suddenly just smiles, the tension kind of draining away from her as her hand pulls away from your face. So just, good. At least one of you knows respect and knows how to behave with manners and propriety. She kind of brushes herself off and steps back over towards the desk
So it'll give
and
a
leans against it.
sigh of, like a, whew.
If there
What
are
is
any
it?
bases or anything behind me, I'm gonna knock one over on the ground.
There sadly is not. It's a rather barren office, all things considered. Although, if you want to lash out at a book or something like that as you go out, or you can kick at the bed that's in the corner.
Perfect.
You just kind of back kick the bed, and it just, with a harsh squeak of like wood against wood, just drags off slightly. Her eyes do dart to your attention, you for a moment, basically, before back onto Sidrius. Tell me, what is your name?
Well, ma'am, my name is Sidrius Caelum, the full name. And as I said, from the bottom of our hearts, we would like to help the people of the city, but to do so, we must examine. No, that's why we came here, right? To examine one of the bodies.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
What bodies do you seek? There are many who have stepped into my domain. Which ones is it that you wish?
There is the one body of a person who was believed to have been killed by a fake serial killer. Where is one?
Copycat.
Yes, I know who you mean.
A lantern ghost killer. LGK.
Yes. By the LGK.
Nice.
I know who you mean, yes. Poor Daniel, he passed so young.
Yes.
Very well. You and one other, who is not the lizard, may inspect the body. The
It's
lizard
not.
and the other must wait outside.
I'm
Specifically, your feline friend may join you. Those who are so quick to attack a hostess in her own home do not get my invitation to be present in it.
Very well. We appreciate your understanding and appreciate the time you have given us out of your day, and we apologize for the inconvenience.
She kind of just smiles, this odd smile at you. I do not suppose that you are looking for a new home yourself. A new family to find.
Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a wanderer. Outside of
A
my
shame.
forge, I just like to wander the lands.
A shame, you would have been a welcome addition.
Trying to be your sugar mama.
Yeah.
No matter, however. Regis, this you do hear, Rasma, just that single name be shouted out, and one of the individuals behind the desk perks up and goes and heads over and slips basically through the door, essentially. It cracking open just enough for him to step in. And so the three of you see him silently step in and kind of very proper body language, for lack of a better word. You called, ma'am? This one and this one. And their little dog. Take them to see Daniel. And they are given full permission to inspect the body. This one and the food one outside are not to be allowed further into the premise. As you say, ma'am. He kind of straightens up and opens the door in like very like butler-esque gesture. If you two would follow me towards you, Dirk and Sidrius. And we'll head out of the room.
Sid will follow. He will kind of like give a nod to Arvyn, like, sorry, this is the best we got. I was lucky to, And I guess he'll do the same to Rasma.
Yeah.
When we're walking through the hallway. But...
Still outside. I didn't come back in.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to meet people. I'm guessing that's a warded door, which is why I'm hearing what I'm hearing. But doesn't matter. I'm the piece out here.
I'm gonna like pointedly be the last one out of the room. And as we get outside to Rasma, I'm gonna be like, I think she hates me more than she hates you.
I'll hand him the cigarette.
Thanks. Thanks. Elves got crazy in there.
Yeah.
At this
welcome
point-
to join.
At this point, by the way, Beacon of Hope has faded.
Yeah.
So that's one spell set off.
I quashed it anyway.
Yep.
So I take it Rasma and I aren't allowed out of like the room we're in currently, right?
That's correct. You're not allowed any further.
There are
You can
5
try to
sets
go
of
for it.
eyeballs staring at us.
Um,
And I'm staring back.
I'm gonna like tap him on the shoulder and make a gesture for us to at least get as close to like that door that they left out of as possible.
Yep.
Before anybody like really tries
Can
to
I-
forcibly stop me.
Can I check the door without being seen by the 5 eyes?
Which door? The door to Sidrius' office or one of the different
Yeah, the
ones?
door to the office that I was just kicked out of.
If you want to check it, you're going to have to make me like a sleight of hand or something because they are just staring at you. So
All
you're
right,
going to have to be very...
Yeah,
Careful.
dude, we're definitely in trouble. Like,
Yep.
Oh, don't worry. I had a critical sleight of hand.
Okay.
It
Then yeah,
was-
you can make an... What are you looking for?
I'm trying to see if the door is locked or if it is
If it's locked, make
in some way
me
impeded.
Perception.
Okay. Perception. I hit the wrong tab. All right. 19.
So the door did shut behind Arvyn, but it is not locked.
All right. I'll go ahead and carefully try and open it enough to hear what's going on, but not at the door. But
So you open the door
obviously
to
open.
Sidrius' office.
Yeah. Just to listen.
Okay. I'll say with your crit, yeah, you can do so. You hear nothing but the sound of scratching quill on paper, which, as you open the door, though, does pause for a second, and then continues.
All right. I will give no further pressure and hold the door as it is.
Mhm.
And just listen.
As for the other two, Dirk and pardon me, and Sidrius, you two are led out of. Where's Dirk's token gone?
Put the corner of the door.
I've just noticed. There it is. Okay. Right, there we go. So you two are led out of the back right door, which Arvyn is now resting against. And Arvyn, you've got 2 people just paying attention to you as you do so. You're led into a very dim hallway, to which there's a set of double doors at the end, which are currently propped open. As you step through into what is actually a tiled room. And this seems to be like the only place where you see complete tile and stone. You can see 3 other individuals are currently at work over 3 bodies set up on dissection tables. In the typical dissection examination, I suppose, you got the ribs kind of pulled back and open, bodies, organs are being weighed. This is very much so like an actual mortuary and autopsy, essentially. And it's active even as you're being brought in. Nevertheless, Regis turns you both and wait here just a moment, please. Turns
So-
and goes. Oh, good.
Real quick, so I know one body obviously will look like it's been murdered because that's the one we're looking for. The other 2 bodies, do they look like natural deaths or do they also look like?
Make me medicine check.
Oh, that's probably not going to be good.
Would have been cool for me.
Yeah. Hey, D&D Beyond is on my side. 19.
nice.
Okay, so none of
I
these
haven't
bodies
rolled
look.
below. I saw the advantage thing. I haven't rolled below a 15 yet on D&D.
So none of these bodies seem to be been murdered in the way that you were expecting. Each of them seem to have died from one of like two of them from old age, one of them from maybe illness. You can see as a lungs are pulled out, they're just completely black essentially from rot. So it seems most likely illness of some sort. Vigil, however, turns to both as saying, after a beseechment for you to wait there for a moment, goes down the set of stairs you can see to the top left of the room. And after like a minute, you hear footsteps coming back up, and he's carrying in his arms a body bag, essentially. Like a canvas body bag, I suppose. And goes over to one of the unoccupied dissection tables and opens it up and gestures you both over. May I introduce you to Daniel, a fisherman in life. He now is entombed beneath our feet until his family can be ready for preparations for his own death. And Ray just kind of just steps aside and lets you approach. And it's on the table right to as you enter, essentially. So immediately on your right as you enter.
This one here?
Yes, that one.
Oh.
And just sets the body down.
So unfortunately, Sid's a little bit out of his depth here. He's never really studied medicine. But he will, yeah, no. I tried to calm down the tensions. But, so the first
to
thing...
home and threatened her.
Yeah, well, I'm an American. I'm an idiot. What do you want?
I don't know how to act in
figure
other
that out.
countries.
What is it on South Park? This is America.
I thought this was America. You can't just go yelling at people in their houses. I thought this was America.
See, if I was Canadian, I'd be like, I'm not your pal, guy, and I would have won that shit.
But so the first thing Sid will do is he will try to get a mental image of anything that he could ask Rasma about that looks particularly interesting. Like obviously he's not gonna worry about like common stuff, but
you and Dirk, because you're also there, you can both make me a medicine check if you like. One of you can assist the other for advantage if you want.
I would say Dirk would have a higher medicine.
I have a +3. I got so it's a 22. I rolled a 19.
Well, I'm gonna let you lead this investigation because I don't have a good medicine scores.
So if Dirk, if you roll again, see if you get that crit. Since you're getting assistance from Sidrius.
Negative. No crit.
Okay, so 22, you said. So looking over this body, you can see, if you remember from the reports of the Landon Ghost Killer, how they did it almost like a Jack the Ripper, essentially, you know, surgical removal of the organs and things like that. Looking over this body, you can see where there have been 2 different types of cuts have been performed. One over which seemed to be the kind of autopsy practice, if you will. A different set of cuts, however, seem to be more precise over like the chest, the torso. With the 22, as best as you can tell, it's like you can tell both were done by different types of blades. One by a scalpel, one by a knife, essentially. You know, like the thickness of the cut, things like that. And this slight unevenness to some of the cuts that you can see. As far as you could tell, though, it's like both were done by a medical professional, albeit one with improper tools. As far as you can conclude, if this is a copycat of the Landon Ghost Killer, they are just as skilled as the actual Landon Ghost Killer was meant to be, at least from the reports you read.
So this is the body of the person that was found the day after?
This is the body of the person who was found the day after, yes, since that's who you asked to see.
And I mean, obviously we can't tell which. So, like, the cuts, are they just like flesh wounds? Are they deep cuts, like basically trying to like perform a pre-autopsy to like look inside?
They are deep they are deep cuts. It's hard to really tell precisely what was done, but from the looks of it, it's not like these were same cuts. It basically looks like an autopsy was done with two different types of blades.
Okay, gotcha.
One was done by scalpel, one by dagger, essentially. You know, it's, as I say, it's almost like a medical professional did both.
Now, if I look inside the body cavity, can I see if any of the organs are missing at all?
You step forward to do so, to look, and Regis steps forward with you and, for what it's worth, allow me, please. Trained professionals only, you understand, we have a reputation. And he gathers some tools from the side and basically reopens the cuts for you and opens up the cavity, and you can see the organs are not there. Over your shoulder, by the way, you can see those that are doing the other operations are embalming the organs. So the organs are intended to be put back into the body, essentially. Whether for cremation so the whole body can be cremated, buried so the whole body can be buried, whatever ritual there might be. It seems they're not removing and discarding the organs, so to say. So for the organs to be removed, probably suggests to you, especially without medicine, that this isn't standard procedure for this place.
So the Lantern Ghost Killer took all the organs before he left the corpse. Gross.
If you remember from the reports as well that you read, the organs were kind of removed, and I don't know if I did actually mention this, and I apologize if I didn't, but kind of removed and flayed, essentially, and left on the body. So it makes sense why they wouldn't be here.
Yeah, so then they probably took the organs as evidence or threw them away.
They might have done. You don't know for certain, but at least they're not here.
Weird. Gross. Can I see any other kind of markings on the outside of the body? Flip them over, any kind of tattoos or...
Investigation check. And both of you can again do this, or one of you can help to give advantage.
Oh, I don't mean to brag, but plus 10 investigation.
I'll assist you.
14.
Okay. In that case, Sidrius, advantage on your investigation.
I rolled 2 2s on the advantage. So it was a 12. Oh, the D&D.
Okay.
As many good rolls as I had on D&D Beyond.
You gotta roll bad now.
Yeah.
Take them all away. Run your luck out.
Too much praise for D&D Beyond.
Yeah. Wait.
Stupid RNG.
Because it was on D&D Beyond, now I get to roll on Foundry, right?
Not quite. With a 12? With a 12, let's see.
But I think Nick got a 14, right?
Yeah, I got a 14.
Okay. I'll say, even with that 12, it's barely enough, so you just get this. As you're looking over the body, it's at the base of the neck, not the center back, the nape of it. It's off to the side. You see barely present, almost like a discoloration of the skin that's only a couple of hues off. There's an odd mark. It seems almost spiral-like in nature. Any details of it you can't make out. You're barely catching it as it is, but it's almost like there's been a spiral in the body, in the flesh.
So, Sid will definitely take a mental note of the exact shape. But it'd be like a spiral, like the if you watch Naruto, like the Uzumaki.
It's basically like a jagged spiral, for lack of a better word.
Gotcha.
It looks like there's further details to it, but you can't make it out. If you got higher, you would have. At 12, you barely catch even this. It's as you're turning the body over, it's actually you, Dirk, who catches it in the shifting of this low lantern-lit room. It's like the faintest catch of something not quite right, and you point it out to Sidrius, and you both kind of peer over and find this.
And he has all his toes and digits.
All digits are there.
Well, I think that's all we need to see. Thanks for showing us this.
Well, shouldn't we ask them if they have the organs to inspect?
Oh yeah, like I just assumed they were here. Do we have the organs here?
We do not know, I am sorry to say, sir. They were in such a poor condition that it was basically, well, a meat fillet at that point. It was determined also that there was no point in maintaining the structure of the corpse. Besides, it would have been too impractical to do so at that time. As far as I were, there was an impression of to attempt to try and gain any knife food from them. The constable failed to do so, however, and sorry, no, not constable. The captain failed to do so, however, and I believe the organs were burnt. Their ashes are set aside, so when Daniel himself is cremated, they can be added together then. It is violation of procedure, but needs must. Is there anything else I can help either sirs with?
No, I don't think so.
Very good. Follow me, please. Back to work, the three of you. And his eyes kind of glance over the three others who seem to like slow down a little bit while you're doing what you're doing, kind of like side-eyeing you. But at his admonishment, they go back to work, more focused.
Can I ask real quick just to make sure? So what you were saying is that the captain, Captain Samson, he was the one that didn't take care of the organs correctly? Is that?
He said captain. You've no idea who.
Sid will ask if he can clarify if it was Captain Samson specifically.
I am afraid I cannot say for certain. Mom was the one to deal with the captain. She dealt with the body intake as it was. That was not to my purview, so it is not to my understanding. I am merely the head clerk of this place, so to say. I keep track of the bodies coming in and out. I do not deal with the particulars.
I understand. We greatly appreciate your time. And he's going to look at Dirk and say, is that all you would like to see in here?
I think that's all the information we can gather from the body.
He's going to reach out and offer a handshake to both.
Sid will take it. Sid will give him a big old grab him out of the hand and a dwarven handshake.
Okay.
Dirk will, I'll give him a little growl, grimace, and kind of take his fingertips and
Yep.
give him a shake.
Thank you. Good to see that at least some of your group have some manners. Follow me. And he'll turn to leave. So while that was going on, in the main room, we have our elf and our lizard. Did you guys wish to try and do anything?
I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm listening.
I wanted to give a quick give a quick divine sense. Detect good and evil until the end of your next turn. Sense anything affected by the hollow spell or no location. Blah blah blah. Within 60 feet.
A divine sense, you said.
Yes.
Check.
And I want to do it from this position, close to the door. So if I can get everybody in the room, and then just to see if there's anything weird going on in the adjacent room.
You sense a number of undead around you. There are 2 in the room with you.
Oh shit.
There are 2. There are 4 in the room with you. There are 3, I think, in the direction where Sidrius and Dirk went. There are 1 into the west, and it seems like 2 to the north. You also sense a couple of undead below your feet as well.
Cool.
Everyone's an undead.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, so the second that like Sid and Dirk leave and Rasma's gonna go do his thing by the door, they're all like their purpose is to keep an eye on us, right? It's not like they're trying to even the illusion that they went back to work.
They're not even hiding it. They're just
Okay.
stood there kind of staring at you all.
Okay.
There's even a point where someone starts to come in the door, and one of them just looks up and business will be done later. And just gestures for them to leave, essentially. Their focus is basically locked on you guys right now.
Okay. I won't have put my sword like away. So, you know, I'm standing there, sword in hand, like a sentry keeping an eye on the door. And Rasma, what are you doing? You just trying to listen into what crazy lady's doing?
I was just listening in, and I was also doing some meditating, some divinity channeling. Just
So
not the actual channeling of divinity like the spell says, but harmonizing.
I was about to say that would have been interesting.
I'm gonna
No.
the whole time I'm gonna be pretty like foot tapping, looking a little jittery. As soon as I kind of realize like what time it is, and if possible, I'm gonna be really subtle about it, so he's not gonna see. But I'm gonna be like Rasma, but not enough for anybody to like notice.
You're doing it across the room, trying to get Rasma's attention by
I'm not, like I
focused
said,
on
not really.
listening in.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't want it to be like making a face all of a sudden and giving it away. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little nervous, hoping that Sid and Dirk like kind of hurry up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will stop your foot from tapping with my tail.
You're on opposite sides of the room, bear in mind.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Well, then that's really fucking impressive.
That's a really long.
It's
So
like
if you're
we're-
listening to Sidrius, you're basically in the southwest.
Yeah.
okay.
With Arvyn listening into to the door that the other two went, he's in the northeast of the room.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm gonna be obviously very nervous knowing what I know.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know what you know. I'm
Right.
just standing at the door like, la la
So
la la la.
with Divine Sense, how accurate is it?
Divine Sin?
You know the location, but it's not behind total cover.
Yeah. So I would only know about the 4 in this room then.
Yeah.
Which is
You'd
still
know
way too
their
many.
You'd know their exact location as well, wouldn't you?
Okay.
So in that case, the first is directly to your right, in the corner of the room, essentially,
Okay.
right next to you. The second is right by Rasma, in the direct opposite corner of the room, in the lower left corner of the room.
Oh shit.
So they're invisible.
One of them is stood behind the desk. In fact, it is Anne. Well, Anna, can't remember what name I gave her. The woman who was originally there. And the second is the man next to her. So the two at the desk, essentially.
Wow. Son of a bitch.
They're both undead. The other two do not detect on your Divine Sense. Do you wish to do anything with this knowledge, other than be a bit nervous? Oh, I will say also. Yeah, sure. You can kind of put it together. In that room where you drew the sword, you felt something behind you, Arvyn.
Okay.
It seems you registered as a threat, and thus are being tailed, essentially.
Okay. So the only one that I'm for sure is the 2 like near the desk, and then I do know about the ones that I can't see or no?
You've sensed their location.
Okay. All right. All right, and then there's 2 what? Just regular living people in here, as far as I know.
As far as you know.
Okay. Fuck. I don't like that answer. Yeah, I'm gonna just really kind of try to listen like to the door to see if I can hear Dirk and Sid like wrapping up in there.
You'd hear faint conversation. Make me a perception check.
Oh God. Ooh. Not bad. And there we go. 21.
Okay, you can kind of hear them beginning to wrap it up. Essentially, you hear that kind of what Vigil was saying. At least two of you know how to have manners and decorum, and so you get the idea they're just about to come out.
Okay. Hearing them make their way out, I'm just gonna go ahead and move to like about here. Not making it look like I'm running out of here or anything, but just making it look like I'm walking towards like Rasma.
Yeah, makes sense.
If we get betrayed after how nice that lady was that said, it's gonna break his heart. Just so you know.
As the two of you, Dirk and Sid, exit them, Ray just gives a nod to you both and seems to disappear down and away through the other door. So leaving you just with 4 others in that room. Rasma, you do hear at that noise from Sidrius's office as she seems to get to her feet and start to walk towards the door.
I will very carefully relatch the door.
Momentarily. You then will hear her approach and the latch click as the door swings open again. If you would please get out of my way.
Yeah, I'll get out of her way. I'll say, I apologize earlier. I have, for my actions, I've been on edge so far from my tower and the moon.
Save your fancy words. I care not for them. You've shown your worth to me. And she just kind of brushes past you to come stand basically in front of the doors, hands clasped in front of her. Now then, you have what you wish. Citrus?
Sid will nod his head and say, yes, we greatly appreciate it. I think we found plenty of useful information and possibly a clue. So I think we have a good direction, thanks to you and your hospitality, of course.
Of course.
Of course, Sid doesn't know about the undead. He's just...
Yep.
I do have a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Before we got here, we were told about the council and about having it not be a bad thing if we were to remove them.
I mean, that was never said. You can interpret that, but...
Well, that's how I interpreted it. So that's kind of playing through my mind as I'm staring at her throat.
Yeah, let's burn this mother down.
Not the whole... that's, of course, what you would say.
She...
Go ahead.
She's going to turn and walk towards Sidrius and hold out a hand towards you.
Sid will, I guess, do the old hold the hand, give it a kiss, and kind of like bow his head just to show the respect and the gratitude for allowing us
Those that know true manners and respect the sanctity of death and undeath and all that comes after life. You are always welcome to return. Your fellows less so. Now, is there anything else that you all want?
Sid will
Sir,
look.
anything you want to tell me, Arvyn? Anything you want to say?
I'm gonna look at Sid, and are you good?
I believe, yes.
Then let us not take up any more of the lady's time, lest we all grow a little uncomfortable in this close proximity. We apologize for our rudeness, but it is time we depart. We have an appointment that we must get to as quickly as possible. Thank you for your time, and I'm gonna be as demonstrative as I can that
We should go.
we're leaving.
Okay.
A word of advice. She'll speak up just as you kind of get to the doors. If you will listen to one such as I for but a moment. She'll pause and wait to see if you just stop or do you just keep going.
No,
No.
I'll stop. Genuinely, I'll even turn around. And look at her.
Me too.
I would advise that you be careful what you go doing and saying in this city. We do not take kindly to outsiders and those that try and impose their will upon us. Be careful what stone you decide to cast out. We know not what ripples you might create, and what lurks beneath the murky depths. We know not what ire you might arise against you. Good day.
I have one last word for you. The shadows are not where you should feel comfortable. And I'll step off and good day. And I'll go ahead and walk out.
You just hear an amused laugh behind you.
Sid is going to be pretty happy to leave. Not that he was necessarily.
Yay!
Yeah, you got out of there.
Yeah, he feels like it was a very fortunate not having to kill people that he feels is mostly innocent.
Out loud, I'll look over at Arvyn and was there nothing? Was there no reason? And I'm just gonna be scratching the floor with my big lizard toes. Just trying to get out all that aggression into my curling toes.
Look, Rephram mentioned that there were undead or any kinds of things. They were in the room with us. 2 of them that we could see, and I'm almost positive there were some in there that we couldn't.
And normally blue skin's turning red.
Not just one. Several, if not that whole place, for all we know.
Why did you not tell me until we are out of position?
That's it. You're saying this out loud, not just.
Yeah,
I'm trying to mutter
as
it.
we're,
I'm trying
walking
to
out.
keep it between us.
No, I'm outside, and I'm there was undead in there. I am so glad you all are okay. I hope you learned something. They would have. It would not have been gone well in there. I am glad we were out. Rephram wasn't kidding.
They would have been reduced to cinders.
People aren't what they seem here.
Sid will say, should we go tell her there's undead in there, or do you think she already knows?
They know.
Do you want to run and tell him? Is that the question?
They know. 2 of the assistants that work there were some of them.
Oh, okay. Well, they did give us useful information, so...
They didn't do shit.
Well, wait until you hear this. So, some of our findings, looking at Dirk...
We're walking, by the way. Walking, talking.
Yeah.
No, I figured.
Yeah,
I've
we're not
read
standing out front talking about them.
Just like standing there at the office door.
Pointing at the door.
So Sid will say, this fake killer or original killer or whoever they are seemingly making surgically precise cuts, but they seem to be using daggers instead of scalpels. So I think we can maybe believe that there's either a specific reason or maybe they don't have access to the expensive tools necessary to make these cuts. So they either want to cause this rougher cut or they just can't afford it. Also, it seems like they didn't know which captain, but the person mentioned the captain failed to properly handle the organs. Like there was mistakes that led to them being burned. And I will remind you that when we were reading the criminal reports, it was also the Captain Sampson who found a murder, attributed it to a copycat, and still hung the one person.
John.
John.
Jarm.
Yeah, Jarm. So I think this Captain Sampson, I don't know that they're necessarily speaking of Captain Sampson, but Captain has came up a few times, and we know Captain Sampson has been intertwined into these investigations. Furthermore, I will say there was a really odd mark. I couldn't see it very well, but let me just draw it out for you. And that's what he's going to do his best to maybe bend down and put a stick in the sand or just any way to show them kind of like that circular symbol.
If anyone who's looking at it wants to try and figure it out, make me a roll 20 check. Just roll a d20, and I'll add your bonus that's relevant to it.
Ooh,
from your sheet.
15.
18.
So I'll go one by one, just to make it easier on me.
There we go.
So Arvyn.
18.
Okay. Dirk.
17.
Rasma.
15.
And Sidrius.
Sid knocked it out of the park. A 6. Yeah.
You're not even sure if
Rasma.
you're drawing it right. I think that's what
You
it looks
don't-
like.
Well, Sid just doesn't know what the symbol means. He remembers what it looks like.
So, Rasma, you don't know what this mark is, but it's familiar to you. It's something you've encountered maybe once before during an old tome or something like that. You're racking your brain trying to figure it out. And I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please. As you're just staring at this mark.
It's 19.
Nice.
So the rest of you watch as Rasma, his eyes just seem to go blank for a moment. As he's just staring at this mark, and to your perspective, Rasma, it's almost like the mark begins to fill itself in a little bit more. Like odd tendrils reaching out from the main body of this spiral. You feel like almost like a tug at your soul as you peer in the spiral that seems to go deeper and deeper, Joe. Almost like the spiral's becoming 3D as you stare at this mark. Being pulled down, down, and down, never down into it. This void and abyss reaching out towards you. The tendrils of the spiral kind of seeking and finding purchase on your mind itself. And where it does, it's not so much that you feel terror, more you feel just the absence of everything. Like everything where this tendril touches just fades away, that you lose your very sense of understanding yourself. Like it's been burnt away into nothingness. And as you stare at this mark, you fail your wisdom saving throw and take 20 points of psychic damage.
Ow.
As a single name resonates in your mind, a recognition that brings you fear, before that fear is almost consumed by the grasping void that you have touched. Thavizdoon. And
What's
as that
the
name, Thavizdoon, and as the name of the malign god of entropy sets into your mind, we are going to take just a quick break.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, okay. I get it. You lawnmower man me, and then we go on break. That's fine.
We'll let you stew on it. Go ahead and make another wisdom save. We'll get back to it when we get back. Awesome. All right, so it is currently 9:32. We're going to take about a 10-minute break and then be right back. To everybody watching, thank you very much. To our amazing cast and our great DM, thank you. I'm tense as hell right now. So we're going to take about a 10-minute break.
I know.
And we will come right back and find out what the hell kind of ominous shit we've got to deal with. Stick around. We'll be right back. Boom, boom. All right, we are back from our real life short rest, and with that, we'll send it back to Sam. Take it away.
Yep. Okay, with my voice a bit rested up now from that, we'll jump back into that moment of Rasma as you focus on that name that seems to slither out the depth of your memory. A name that doesn't quite have any meaning to you and yet carries with it a sense of terror. Almost like just thinking the name invokes something. For the rest of you, Rasma's just kind of stood in place for a moment, just staring at this spot on the ground. For you though, Rasma, you're falling. Your mind is just falling deeper and deeper into this single spot. This singularity of focus, essentially. Everything around you just fading away. No, not fading, being torn away. Obliterated. Destroyed. Readied for a new coming. You feel it almost seeking to set tendrils into your mind, into your very being, your very soul. Before suddenly, with a gasp, you manage to pull yourself back and out of it. The name Thavizdoon is immediately wiped from your mind. All you have is that remembrance of that terror. The word is gone. Instinctively, though, you lash out and you all watch as Rasma kind of bends down and rakes a can through this sign, just destroying it in a single action. And he's just kind of panting there, just panting on his hands and knees. Eyes blown wide and wild, just darting everywhere without quite seeing and taking in that which around him. For the next 7 hours, Rasma, you're on edge. You feel just paranoia at everything and anyone around you. You have disadvantage on your wisdom and charisma checks, as this spark of madness starts to set in.
Oh shit, dude.
Wisdom and constitution.
Charisma.
Charisma. Brutal. Okay.
Shit, dude.
And that's for the next 7 hours.
Yeah, also my blue eyes turn a different color. They're like more green now. And
For the rest, oh god.
I just look disturbed, even though my face is all wrapped in cloth. You can still kind of see my eyes looking upset.
For the rest of you, Rasma literally just like stared at this thing on the ground, and then in a few seconds was just panting and just terrified, just raking his hand through it, just destroying that symbol that was drawn.
Hey, why'd you do that? That was a nice drawing.
I was looking at that.
Yeah. You're trying to ponder it too.
And to the rest of us, it's insignificant.
It's insignificant. And Rasma, in their words, you swear you hear an echo behind them. Whispers. Many whispers, actually. It keeps speaking of that decay and destruction and obliteration and nothingness. The whispers are all around you. Everyone is speaking those whispers. You swear it.
Is there any way I can reach out to my god and maybe cure this affliction that I have?
Make me a religion check, but I warn you, it's going to be very hard.
Oh, Jesus. But I warn you. Oh, God.
Yeah, what do you... Okay, I'm going to do it.
Your god is pissed.
Okay, I didn't do bad. I got a 21. That's not
You try
as good as it
to
gets,
steady yourself and reach out to your god. But your thoughts can't settle. Your mind can't settle. It's that you're on the edge, like fight and flight, constantly at this point. You try to reach out, but you just can't grasp that connection. And you feel, even though you're in the middle of a street that isn't empty, there are people still going back and forth and in the alleyways and surrounded by your allies. In this moment, you feel particularly alone.
This is not remotely good. I'll just kind of start weeping. Without concern.
Real tough day.
I'm just gonna start crying. Nobody, it's fine.
Just,
all right, so there's like activity like in the streets, right? People going about their business and that kind of thing.
Not a lot, but the odd person. It's not abandoned streets.
At some point between us leaving the mortuary and all of this, there's like whenever it seems like there's this like the most people I'm gonna get, the largest sample size I'm gonna get. I want to cast Divine Sense again. I want to see if the people out here are undead too, or if those two things that I didn't see are following us.
Okay. You take a moment. I'll say with the kind of display being put on at the moment, you've got a slight gathering that are just kind of seeing what's going on. You cast out your Divine Sense and you get one trigger returning from like down an alleyway. Other than that, there's no other undead, no other fiends, or is it celestials that you can also sense? I think it's
celestials, fiends, and undead. Oh shit! Okay. Hold on. All right.
Yeah, you don't trigger anything else. Just there's one ping essentially.
And if we go by raw, which says like anything that is not behind like full cover, does that mean that like it's some way I can get like even like the smallest little glance at it, like it's in some kind of line of sight?
You can try and take a glance at it.
If I can, if we're doing this while like Rasma's having his like episode, I want to see if, you know, wherever it goes off, if I can just, I don't know, be cool about it and just see if I can just see like equate like the sensation with like a beat.
Make me a perception check.
All right, baby.
A perception check.
Come on. Ooh, I like it. And all right, it's going to be a dirty 20.
Okay. Hold on. You glance into the direction where this ping is coming from. It settles after like the 6 seconds it takes. You don't see anything there. You swear you see some shift of movement in like the shadows, but you can't make out what it is that's there.
Okay. I'm not gonna. Rasma's having a thing, so I'm not gonna like kind of say what's going on. I don't want to make it worse for what's going on with them. Yeah. All right, and then I'm just gonna. You're visibly shaken, right? Like this is, you are not okay.
No, I'm just like weeping to myself and all like balled up and small and like mankind.
Oh, I don't have greater restoration.
I do.
Like,
But I'm not convinced I can use it right now, so it's not helping me.
All right, I'm just gonna be concerned for Rasma. I don't like what's going on. This town sucks. Like real talk.
Dirk I'll pick Rasma up in my arms like a little baby, and we'll carry him to the asylum.
Yeah, with your strength, you're more than able to do so.
Just got like my head like buried in my hands and just like
It's nice and warm too. It's 95 degrees.
Yep.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
as a
Dirk,
wizard, I probably appreciate the hell out of that.
Yeah, Dirk remembers the thermal cube he has on him and heats up the area around him.
I do feel slightly better being in the warmth of the cube.
Yep.
I will say that.
Cold-blooded bastard.
Pondering the cube.
Okay. As you're going, and you're heading to the asylum, assuming that's where you're next seeking to follow up the leads you have, Arvyn, as you're going, and actually Arvyn and hold on a second, let me double check something. I just thought of this.
Whoever else he's about to name, I'm sorry. It's probably my fault you're included.
Yeah. Arvyn and actually Beowulf.
Oh no.
So Arvyn, this is to a different location now. Down almost like on the rooftops, flitting from the rooftops, you look up and for a moment you swear you see something. Almost like there's an individual stood there, staring down at you, cloaked, almost like wearing a like a plague mask, it seems at first. They're just peering at you. Head tilts almost unnaturally to one side, and you realize you see like faint shifting feathers in the breeze before this very tiny individual just turns and kind of ducks out of view. Beowulf also spots this, and Sidrius, he kind of nudges you and gets your attention, pulls your eyes in that direction. And I'll say with that, he does catch this movement also and alerts you to something being present.
He'll give a big old, deep, loud bark.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Catches your attention immediately and kind of, it's kind of like a pointer dog, if that makes sense. Just pointing with his snout immediately up onto the roofs.
Does this plague doctor god, does he react to that any?
He's, by the time you look up, he's already kind of, whatever, is kind of jumping out of the way. You don't get the view of, all you see is a small figure ducking out of you. You don't see the kind of beak.
Gotcha.
Silhouette.
So Arvyn sees kind of the full picture and him turning away, and by the time Sid sees it, the guy's already kind of turning. Like, I just see the glance of someone moving.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha. Oh. I mean, I'll just put in the full description, but for my sake.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
This would be the asylum, correct? Basically, like, as far as note taking, we're on our way to the asylum.
Yeah, you're on the way to the asylum. And it's actually not when you're not too far from the asylum that you catch sight of this individual. You, Dirk, were a bit too focused on carrying the sobbing form of a giant lizard baby to quite notice it, unfortunately.
So Sid will say, ask the party in general. Sid will ask the party in general, be like, "Did you all see that up there?" And like, obviously, people notice Beowulf's barking at something. But...
Beowulf would stop, yeah.
Oh yeah, as
Yeah,
soon as
yeah.
it's out of view, he stops.
Okay.
Kind of threats abated type of thing.
Okay. I saw it. I'm reaffirmed by Beowulf having seen it and barked. Sid knows something's there. I'm going to turn my attention to Rasma and Dirk. Just to, they're oblivious. Just to get a little closer. Rasma's not doing well. Dirk's hands are literally full. There's something out there. It's like, I feel like this is Predator, like in the city.
Want some candy?
Yeah.
Somebody out there.
Up in the trees. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of, in a protector kind of sense, just get a little closer to Dirk and Rasma, especially when Beowulf barks.
Okay.
And Sid will ask, did you get an idea of how tall the individual was?
It was little. I didn't really look at size, but it's in like one of those masks that like doctors wear, like in a plague. Head moved weird. Yeah.
What if it was Anku?
Well, try to keep an image of the body shape if you can.
It was,
Wonder if the murderer may be spying on us since we're investigating.
okay. And I'm, like you said, we're, arm out, one hand on sword. Whatever it is. I mean, we stick out like sore thumbs, let's be real.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. In that case, on edge and a bit nervous because my voice is starting to go. It's as a very, very stressed group, I think, that you all arrive at the gates to a large and rundown looking building. Like two wings, either it'd be like a straight building if it weren't for the two wings that come out, almost like in a U shape, essentially. There's gated iron, wrought iron gates set before you, and kind of spelled out in the wrought iron, you see the words "Opener Asylum." As you reach the asylum where Jean Lovelace, whatever his name was, spent his last few days protesting his innocence before he was hung and executed. As you step through those gates and onto the grounds of the asylum, faint flickering light coming through an odd few broken windows before you. That is where the third session of What Lurks Below will come to an end before I lose my voice.
Damn. All right, cool. I'm all stressed out. That was fun and stressful. Cool.
Now go to sleep.
Yeah, right? I feel like I just watched like Stranger Things. Like, man, this is stressful as hell, but I'm entertained. Cool. Great. Mixed emotions. Awesome. Again, Sam, thank you. This has been an absolute blast. Not only to just get to play, but get to play with these guys and to do this really creepy story. So once again, thank you. We really appreciate it. As you've seen, we had this great little adventure tonight. We will take our DM's time zone and his voice into consideration. You watched us all play these great characters tonight. Behind these is even better people. We give everybody a little chance to say something about themselves on the way out. I'll do a little channel business, and then we will let you get on with your evening. Let us start. Let's start with Dirk. So, how's it going? You're dry now, so that's good.
Yeah, Dirk's dry. I'm prepared to carry Rasma around this whole entire asylum in his sorrow. Just lick the tears from his face with my really rough tongue. I'm sure that he'll enjoy that. Yeah, this place just gets creepier and creepier and creepier, and I like it. I like being here less and less. So the faster that we can start unraveling this tangled web of murders case here, like we've got some some clues, but not anything like definitive or really any real characters to point at. I think Rephram did it. You know, he's got all the tools, perfect cover.
And he left.
Yeah, and he left. He just fled. We let
Hey,
him
you
leave.
guys can totally watch my house.
Yeah, see you later.
Little do you know, there's a ticking dynamite under the house.
Yeah.
My name's Nick. I'm a chef from Northern California. I've got a pug named Griswold and 2 cats, and my wife just made me butter chicken for dinner, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Dope. Thanks for coming out, buddy. Glad you got to make it. Let us slide over to Sid. So you went in, you saw a dead body. You left the troublemakers out in the living room, so we didn't cause too much trouble. And now all this weird stuff is going on, and now Beowulf's involved. How's your time in the Styes going?
Well, the moist air and all the water is not good for someone who likes a lot of iron and mechanic. So he's getting through it. He's still fond of adventure, but definitely not his favorite area. Like when the lady was asking him to stay, he was like, "Hell no." But yeah, he's enjoying it. So.
This is a blast, you guys. And then tell us about our friend Landon.
So, have a wife. She fortunately she just passed her practicals in school, so now she's doing basically lots of internships, and that's been exciting for both of us. I have 2 big Saint Bernard dogs. They Beowulf actually is the inspiration for Beowulf in the game.
How's real Beowulf doing with his leg?
He's doing really good. It's been 4 weeks since we had surgery to repair his ACL. He's got 9 screws in his knee. He's still limping, but he is doing a lot better. He's no longer he's in pain, obviously, but not as much. He's not like whining and stuff. So I'm really happy that he seems to be feeling better. He's getting on the couch to cuddle. And I know they say don't get him on the couch, but he's like a 200-pound dog.
Yeah,
that can really.
What are you gonna do?
It's not like he's jumping on the couch. He's just stepping on the couch. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of been our week. And as always, I just appreciate all the guys playing here. I look forward to it each week. I'm especially happy to get to play Sidrius, the character. I made him like 2 years ago. He's kind of like my favorite kind of go-to character. So it's a good opportunity to play him too. So but that's it.
Awesome. Last and not least, the worst, the person who had like the worst day. So Rasma, how's it going?
Rasma's just in shambles, man. He's gone through shit before, and he figured he was past it, especially after ascending to the top of his order and being like the person to answer all the questions and being in charge of everything, and not being strong enough to push this away is affecting him deeply.
Sorry, man, it sucks. Like it does.
Yeah. It's just, what are you gonna do? It sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then tell us about our boy Tenta.
I'm Tenta. I'm married. My wife made sweet potato curry and garlic naan tonight. So,
nice international night on the show.
Yeah. So it's all part of the theme, I guess. And I've got 2 cats, Dr. Julian and GrowedUpGeek, and I'm just glad to be part of this and be a sneaky healer lizard, and that's just a unique thing for me, and it's cool. Except for the lizard part.
Yeah, and who's also having an emotional break, so good luck with that.
Yeah, that's not the first time that's happened in character or out, so that's cool.
I got this. The role play, I got this.
Yeah,
awesome.
dude, it's solid.
Awesome. Let us finish up once again with a big thank you to our amazing guest DM for running this just absolutely terrifying and creepy thing. It's so great to have somebody that like can just deliver and let me have fun with my friends. And once again, so thank you very much, Sam. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yep, well, I'm very happy that we're getting to this section of the campaign now, because we had 2 sessions of everything being set up, of you getting familiar with the kind of the lay of the land and getting your leads to follow, and now I can start throwing all the creepy shit at you all. So I am so happy about that, and I am going to take that combat encounter that you very nearly triggered, and I'm going to put that in my back pocket, because I have a feeling that's going to come up again very, very soon, because I have a feeling a group of undead is not going to... Rasma's not going to let that stand. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Yeah, I'm not really happy with it either. I didn't like her touching my little friend. Awesome.
See, I just want to say, I was all for the combat encounter, but I just wanted to
there was a lot of them.
see the body.
There were, yeah, and there was a lot of them. Like and we're like in different rooms. It seemed like a bad idea.
You were one bad word, one bad roll off of that going all to shit, and that would have hit. That would have hit very heavy. Let's put it that way. It would have. You might have gotten out the combat.
Absolutely,
got out the encounter, but there would have been consequences. So.
I did not see it going well. This is not like muggers in the street. These, yeah. So yeah, no, I don't like her touching my friend. But yeah, like I said, that's how much we're into this. We argue about how we almost got in a fight. I've been Manny, your very grateful host and player this evening. You can join us again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for Dynasty of Dragons. And then again, Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of Legacy of Blood, as we get through all 3 of our shows this week. To everybody who watched, thank you very much. Sam, once again, thank you for doing this. And to my guys, awesome to get to play with you again. We'll do it again next week. That'll be it for us tonight. We'll see you next tomorrow night, Friday night, or hopefully back here next week for another episode of What Lurks Below. Always remember, I love Dungeons & Dragons and the people who play it. We'll see everybody tomorrow night or next week. Bye-bye.
See you.